Amazon holding its annual shareholder meeting today with CEO Andy Jassy at the helm. Yahoo Finance's Ali Garfinkel has been listening in. Ali, what are your main takeaways from this meeting?
So first things first, Shauna, the rah-rah Amazon era is over. I would call the vibe on this one of sort of attempted positivity. And you'll sort of see this as I run through these top three takeaways. So number one, cost cutting. This is a story we've been hearing in tech over and over again. And I'm on the record saying that I haven't found Amazon's cost cutting story to be particularly convincing narratively. And though some of that continued today, it is important to say that CFO Brian Olsavsky, if you're sitting out there watching this, was talking specifically about cost cutting in AWS, particularly tapping customers to help in that cost cutting process as well. Retail also got a shout out in cost cutting. But for anyone who hasn't been following this, the crux of it is Amazon's retail business really blew up in the pandemic, and now they're trying to sort of shrink it down a little bit to something more efficient. So those were sort of the two key areas they talked about. But again, I still don't find this to be as compelling a narrative as some of the others we've seen on the street. Now, let's go to number two, AI and healthcare. For CEO Andy Jassy, that's what he really was talking about in terms of Amazon's future. For AI, he sort of reiterated the company's B2B approach that we've talked about. He mentioned Bedrock, Amazon's generative AI application, and it really was the story we've heard before. And in terms of healthcare, what was really interesting is he positioned Amazon's One Medical deal, which it did last year, as sort of the successor to Amazon Care, which the company shut down earlier this year. In both cases, for both AI and healthcare, Jassy talked about both as being incredibly long-term investments and it being where he sees the company truly adding value down the line. And the last thing, I know I'm being a little bit flip about this, but everybody hates Amazon. There were a record 18 shareholder proposals at this meeting. As a frame of reference, guys, 2 in 2018. So that is a massive spike. And a lot of these shareholder proposals really focus on worker health and safety. It's something we've heard about Amazon before, and it's something that we will continue to hear again and again. And to be totally honest, listening to, I don't know who's out there has listened to an annual meeting recently, but they can be quite long, and especially when there were a lot of shareholder proposals, it was really one after the other of people who work at Amazon talking about the ways in which they don't feel like it is a good place to work. It was in a lot of ways, to me at least, an astonishing airing of grievances.
Yeah, I mean, a record number of shareholder resolutions here when we talk about 18. There's also going to be an employee walkout in Seattle a week from this meeting. What do we know about that?
Yeah, Kiko, we have just started to really get some information here. It's important to say this walkout is happening in the backdrop of layoffs that Amazon has been doing, cutting 27,000 people over the last few months. So far, this walkout, what we know is this. It's scheduled for May 31st. Lunchtime. It is focused on the corporate workforce, and it is it's been being organized between two groups. One is an internal climate advocacy group, and the other is a remote worker advocacy group. I'm careful about these things because any worker actions can always be really fragile, and you don't necessarily even know what's going to happen till the day of sometimes. But I do think this really bespeaks the current state and low morale, frankly, at Amazon.
Yeah, certainly, and also really speaks to the heightened tensions that you can say between maybe management and also a number of their employees. Ali Garfinkel, thanks.